Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jackson.
Top Notch Sports. Today we're going to be going over the New England Patriots free agency frenzy, where we're going to discuss what we think the Patriots are going to do in free agency. Wow, right? That's interesting. No, anyway, look, they got $64 million, right? $64 million, is it?
Yep.
All right, so they got some money to work with here, and I think they can make some good moves in this free agency. They're losing some guys. They got to potentially re-sign Joe Thuney, David Andrews, Jason McCourty, Lawrence Guy, Adam Butler, Cam Newton, J.C. Jackson, who played very good this year. So there's some guys that they're losing this year, and whether or not they want to bring him back, that's a debate for another day. But right now, we're going to mention who we think they're going to personally bring back, who we realistically and personally think they might be bringing back. And then we're going to say, hey, what are some shiny free agents that we think that they may go after in this upcoming free agency? Now, again, that's not usually the Patriots' way, but we're going to have some fun with this. So, Jackson, right away, what do you think they're going to do with their money?
All right. So, like you said, they got a lot of guys they got to re-sign. So, right here, first things first, I'm going to say they're going to go out and they're going to try to re-sign, bringing back Joe Thuney. It's going to be about a 4-year, like $55 million deal, something around that range. So I think that's probably the first order of business. And the second order of business, I think this team also it's another offensive lineman, longtime Patriot, David Andrews, their center. It's going to be, again, probably another 4-year deal, range about the $18 to $20 million range. I think that's definitely should be the first order of business for this team to, bulk up that offensive line a little bit. The second thing I think they should do is, again, it's going to be another re-signing, J.C. Jackson. They should probably bring him back. Probably make about $10 million a year, something around that range. So right there's 3 guys for you. You get the 2 offensive linemen. You got Thuney and Andrews, and then you're going to go out. You're going to re-sign J.C. Jackson. I think those are kind of the 3 guys they should probably focus on first before they go out into the open market where there's, guys from all over teams, going into free agency. Let's see what you think, Nick. What you got?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of reports going on, though, that Joe Thuney might not want to play for them. So that's where it gets interesting. It's not that they shouldn't go after him. They absolutely should. But will he go back? That becomes a question, whether or not he will. As for David Andrews, I think that he must come back. I think that you guys should probably lock him up. You guys got the money to make both these guys happy. It's just whether or not you guys decide to bring them back and they want to come back. So right away, absolutely put in a bid for them guys. See if they want to come back. Why not? I don't know if Joe Thuney's going to come back, though. That's just a sad reality. So what else do we do? I like your opinion on J.C. Jackson. I mean, again, if you didn't have Jonathan Jones, J.C. Jackson, and Stephon Gilmore in your secondary, you want to do that 9 times out of 10. Maybe are you paying really too high for that secondary room? Absolutely, you're paying a lot. But those 3 guys are lockdown corners, and we saw what J.C. Jackson can do in the absence of Stephon Gilmore. So I think you got to bring him back. As for the rest of your money, this is where things get interesting. I don't know. It's the Patriots. I honestly don't. I think you got to attack the offensive line. I think you absolutely got to attack the offensive line, especially when we get into the draft in a moment. They're going to probably draft their franchise quarterback, just in my opinion. I've been hearing things about Cam again. Maybe they go out and get somebody. I just feel like Mac Jones is too good of a fit for this team. And I'm going to punch in Mac Jones as my selection for the first round. So in order to have him succeed at all, you got to get him weapons and you got to get him an offensive line. And I think by bringing back David Andrews, potentially bringing back Joe Thuney, and getting some weapons around him, that would be a really good start. It would be a really, really good start, in my opinion. That's what you got to do. I think Mac Jones will be there by your pick. I know I've been hearing rumors now that he's going to go top 10. I don't think that's true. I honestly think that Mac Jones will be there for you guys to resign, to draft, and that's what you guys should do. On top of that, you guys got to get a receiver. And here are some names that you might want to look into. Juju Smith-Schuster. Honestly. Why not take a stab and get somebody like him? Allen Robinson. I don't know if Allen Robinson will want to play here. He wants to probably go to a team that has a chance to win a ring and that has a good quarterback solidified. So, but maybe you throw out some money. Kenny Golladay is another option. Will Fuller, right? Corey Davis. Those are a bunch of names. You guys can definitely bring one of them in alongside with J.C. Jackson and get your guy in David Andrews back. You can make those 3 moves and still have money left over. That's simple. and then draft Mac Jones. Then the question becomes whether or not you guys bring back someone like Lawrence Guy, which I think you guys will do. I also think you guys are going to bring back Jermaine Illuminor. These are just some names I think that you guys are going to do. Deatrick Wise, I think that he might be coming back. But I think you got to make a splash at the offensive line position. Whether or not it is bringing back David Andrews and Joe Thuney, I would love to see Joe Thuney back. I just don't think he's going to happen. So therefore, this is a pretty good draft for offensive linemen, mainly tackles, but there's some guards that you can probably get in the second round. So we'll have to look and see. But anything else you want to say? I mean, the Patriots are kind of
So about wide receiver, a guy that I think you can probably re-sign on a cheap deal, a guy that kind of, had a pretty solid last couple games is Damiere Byrd. I think he, showed up a little bit towards the end of the season. I liked what I saw in Damiere Byrd. I think, for a guy, it's going to be cheap. Damiere Byrd's not really proven yet. But I think in the last couple games that he played, he looked pretty good. So I think he kind of earned himself, that money then him bringing back would be a solid cheap option to, have a guy and then still be able to make a splash like the guys you just said. But if we're talking about the draft here for a second, Mac Jones, I think, I've heard a lot of comparisons. They say this guy's kind of built like Tom Brady. I'm pretty sure it's Tua Tagovailoa said that he's like a more mobile Tom Brady. Don't know how true that is, but I think Mac Jones is a great fit for this team. You're going to have to watch some more film on him to see what his strengths and weaknesses are. But I like Mac Jones a lot. National championship at Alabama. But yeah, I mean, again, it's the Patriots. I mean, what do they need? Again, like you said, offensive line. I like the defensive line names you threw out there. Lawrence Guy and Deatrick Wise probably can lock those guys in, or at least they can try to bring those guys back. Again, you probably want to address a receiver in the draft as well. I mean, this team has drafted some poor guys at receiver the last couple of years. N'Keal Harry, more recently, hasn't really panned out. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, this team has got, I'm pretty sure it was the 12th overall pick. So Mac Jones, there's a good chance he falls right into your lap. And then maybe second, third round, you go and get a receiver, maybe get an offensive lineman. This team's got a lot of options. They got money. We'll have to see what Bill Belichick in this front office gets done.
Absolutely. And again, I'll just sum this up like this. Jackson mentioned Matt Jones. I did most of my scouting analysis on him. I still got to watch his pro day and all that stuff, but he's not very mobile. He can be mobile, but he's not mobile. He's not. He's literally, he's like Tom Brady in the pot. The pro comparison I give him to is Phillip Rivers. He doesn't have a huge arm. He's not mobile, but he just seems like he can get it. I mean, I didn't see this guy throw a ball over 50 yards through the air. I didn't see him throw the ball over 60 yards. 55, 50. I think the farthest throw I saw him throw was like about 45 yards. Was like the max distance I saw him actually yam it. Which again, in the NFL, how often do you see guys just even at 70 yards? You don't see that often, right? You don't win games underneath. But this is something that he's going to have to improve on, of course, just like his mobility. He is a guy that's not going to make it hard on offensive linemen. He's going to stand in his pocket and deliver a pass. Right? So the offensive line just needs to block their guys like they're taught to do. Just create a pocket around them, and he's just stand there and deliver the ball. He's fast with his decision-making. He usually throws the ball off the rip. But again, he had Jalen Waddle, and he had Devontae Smith. Two really, really good wide receivers that were beating a lot of coverage like this. So he's going to need those receivers for help. Patriots don't really have those receivers. Again, you mentioned Jacoby Myers, right? Or who did you mention?
Damiere Byrd.
Damiere Byrd, I'm sorry. Damiere Byrd. He played pretty good this year. The thing with Damiere Byrd is, though, he's still not that number one option that you need. You're going to have to go out and get a guy. And let me tell you this much. If they don't go out and get Joe Thuney's projected, okay? Joe Thuney's projected $14.25 million. That's money that they get back. So they'll have over $20 million if they don't have Joe Thuney after the signings that we mentioned of David Andrews, Lawrence Guy, Jermaine Illuminor, J.C. Jackson, and Deatrick Wise. After those 5 signings, they still got another 20-something million left. That's a stud. That's the best wide receiver you want in free agency if you want to get him, right?
Absolutely.
Or you can go and get a guard, which there's not many of those in free agency this year. So maybe you draft a guard or something in the second round. You draft Mac Jones. I think that this team can win games. I think Bill Belichick is a very smart guy. He needs to get his head on straight a little bit. And usually I don't say this, but about his drafting, it's been pretty dang putrid. It has been. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let the guy go. It's been absolutely putrid, and I think you Patriots fans understand that. Not knocking the guy at all. He's the greatest coach of all time. Him and Brady were excellent, but now he needs to move on and get good draft picks, and I expect him to do that this upcoming year, drafting somebody. If it's not Mac Jones, usually I say wait for a quarterback, build a team first. If it's not Mac Jones, I'll have to look further. There's so many needs on this Patriots team that it could really be anything. So when we do our scouting analysis of mock drafts, I want to see you guys there. Let us know what you guys think about those videos, especially when we do the Patriots mock draft. Be sure to comment in the comment section below what you guys think they're going to do in this free agency and who you think they might draft this upcoming season. Guys, that's all from me. Jackson, anything else?
I do want to point out one thing. It's mainly towards this team had a lot of opt-outs on the defensive side of the ball. They managed to go 7-9. So maybe people are knocking on this team a little bit too much. I feel like their defense was the best in the league, or one of the best in the leagues a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure it was the year Gilmore won Defensive Player of the Year. That defense was really good. But they had a lot of opt-outs due to the coronavirus. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. 7-9 last year, but I think they can – I feel like if the right moves happen, they can go up.
We got some breaking news for the Patriots in the Patriots video.
What happened?
So the Patriots, just breaking now from reports, from our sources, are supposed to be trading Stephon Gilmore this upcoming offseason. Which there you go. You bring in J.C. Jackson, you bring J.C. Jackson back, you got Jonathan Jones, and then you can ship away Gilmore. Still, those two are lockdowns, and for what you might get from Gilmore, it might be pretty good. So, guys, be sure to let us know what you guys think about that potential trade. Let us know what you guys think you can get from it. We'll discuss this more later down the line, but we want to see you guys watch this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment in the section below. We'll be right there to talk to you guys. I'm Nick.
I'm Jackson.
Top Notch Sports. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are
Built Better.